targets in Yemen after
Test 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 test. This is a test. Ignore this. W stream W chat W Myron W slave masters. Test test test.
All right, and we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream, man. Welcome to the stream. Sorry for the delay, guys. As y'all could see, me and Bills were testing some stuff. For those of you that are wondering, guys, Myron Gaines X is now working again. I'm using a different service to do the super chats. So what I'm doing now is I'm using Entropy. As you guys know, Entropy is more in line for people like myself who are a bit more controversial because obviously Stream Elements is fucking garbage. So yeah, Entropy is the way to do it, guys. Now, if you guys want to get involved in the show, Myron Gaines X, I think MyronGainesX.com works, or entropy.live/Myron Gaines X. As you guys can see, the link is right there. The text to speech does work. With $50, the chat gets read. So if you guys want to go ahead and do TTS, it stops the show and it gets a chat right in there. So sorry for that delay, guys. I was here literally the whole time looking at the chat. As you guys are like, oh, this guy's late. I was here literally since fucking 4:50 something. It's just that Bills was helping me out with trying to get the super chat thing going. Now, is it going to work 100% tonight or today? I don't know. But we'll see what happens. You guys said refresh my screens. I don't know what you mean by refresh my screens. But yeah, no. Stream Elements sucks, bro. No music intro, bro? No, bro. There's no music intro because I didn't want you guys to wait anymore. You guys want me to put on music and make y'all wait more? I was already feeling bad that you guys waited this long for me to do that stuff. So I said, let me just go live, get this thing going. Oh, hold on. So yeah. Let me see here. Let me make sure I don't miss any chats. But yeah, guys, entropy.live/Myron Gaines X is the account. And I'll see all the chats here that came through. Bills did a test earlier. That's why you guys heard the text to speech. $50 and up is TTS. Okay, we got Daryl Philbin here. Here's footage of what took place before the match. Okay, and then Sabrina Opp. There's no way you're saying Malinois are ugly. My boy is handsome as hell. He gets stopped for being so beautiful. Well, Sabrina, Frank is better looking than your dog. Robin Kobe with the gifted. I appreciate that. Malinois are smart, but hey, man, border collies are more handsome. Demetrius says, yo, Myron, pop this TikTok of you open 5 million views and 400K likes. Please read the comments. The Great Awakening is here, and this is not the first one I've seen that's going crazy. Okay, let me take a look here at this TikTok you gave me. And guys, join OSS, bro. When you join OSS, man, see, he sent it in the chat for $1, and now, bam, I'm pulling it up. Right? It's one of the best ways to interact with the show, bro. I read all the OSS chats that come through. If you super chat $1, yeah. Oh, this is going viral. Okay, guys, this is what he sent me. It was a rant when I was out there. Uncensored 4 minutes of the best exposing the state of Israel. Wow, this thing got 4,000 comments. That's wild, chat. That's wild.
Here's the reality about 9/11. I do not dispute the fact that...
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, this is crazy, bro. Let's see what the comments are saying. And Larry Silverstein coincidentally didn't show up to work that day. Luckiest man alive. Fuck Israel. Yeah. Ensuring the towers weeks before the attack is also very lucky. Yeah, people are waking up, bro. People are waking up, dude. People are definitely waking up, man. Yo, I genuinely think, bro, between like me, Sneeko, and Nick Fuentes, we like red pilled like millions of people on this shit, bro. Between us three. I genuinely believe we red pilled so many fucking people on this topic, bro. Jesus the Kid says, nigga time like always. Thanks. Go JQ. Say it ain't so, Myron Stein. Oh, that's me with the wall. Yo, what are these pictures, bro? Look at this picture this guy sent, bro. What the fuck are these pictures, nigga? What the? Let me show you guys this shit. This is the shit they post on OSS chat. Shit like this. Bro, what? What the fuck is this, bro? It's me at the wall? Hey, man, I guess I'm one of them as well.
It's not my fault that I have to do this. You only pick on me because I'm Jewish. Stop being a jealous loser and go get a job. I can do what I want because I'm chosen by God.
Yeah, stop hating, bro, because you can't go to the wall, man. Stop hating, bro. Stop hating. Those shekels are good, man. Hating ass nigga. All right, what other chats do we have here? But yeah, guys, see, they send shit like that to me on OSS, man. You guys got to join OSS, bro. It's the best chat by far. Myron, waiting for a stream earlier. I wrote, Myron, on Monkey Time Gains, obviously a joke. Your Rumble mod deleted and banned my chat. Freedom of speech. What kind of pussy is that mod? I don't know, man. I didn't. You said something probably that pissed him off. Who Sam's $1? Appreciate that with the picture. Okay. Michael D'Angelo says, Dev stream as always, only base news on YouTube. Could you try and get Wits Get It on the channel? Been J-Pill the Red Pill for years. Makes great debate content. He's been on Timcat and Fours, etc. Would love to see him on. What's his name? Wits It Gets It? I never heard of him, but I guess I could look into it. What are your thoughts on President Maduro? Do you think he's a modern-day version of Mustache Man in the sense of where he is going, save his country from the allies, America and the boys? So here's the thing, bro. Maduro, I don't know too much about him. I know obviously that he's indicted in the United States on drug trafficking. But I do know that he's anti-Zionist, which, anytime someone's anti-Zionist, they're going to put the fucking target on their back. But yeah, I don't know enough about him. I know Jackson Hinkle supports him, but then I know people that don't like him, right? I know a lot of young people don't like Maduro. It seems like older people like Maduro, but young people don't. So, yeah. Demetrius says, I need 5 of you bitch-ass YouTube niggas email to pay for OSS members. Just message me, I'm a brokey. Okay, yo, so look at that, boom. So Demetrius Raps right now is in the chat. This one's the homies. He's the one that actually sent me this TikTok right here. He's been with us for a minute. He's literally going to gift you guys, he's going to gift 5 guys OSS membership. 5. That's why we got a bunch of winners on OSS. If you're a brokey, type in I'm a brokey and then put in your email. And then Demetrius will gift you 5 subs. First 5 people to put their emails and say I'm a brokey, he will gift you a OSS. Thank you so much for that, Demetrius. Thank you so much. And Demetrius, give me a screenshot of all the accounts that you support, so I can shout you out on air. For every one of these brokies that you support. So just shoot me a screenshot on the OSS chat, and I got you, bro. Thank you for that, dude. So there you go, guys. We got someone right now in chat that's going to gift y'all 5 people OSS membership. That's the homie right there, man. Don't just put I'm a brokey. You see, now people are going crazy. I'm a brokey. You got to put your emails. Put your emails. All right? There you go. Got one nigga there. Solo3650@gmail. Okay. So, Demetrius, you got it, bro. Help those guys out, and then let me know, bro, and I'll shout you out on air as always. Okay, I see Root Rebellion gives me some shirt ideas. Oops, all red pills. Okay. And then Way says, I'll try to get you to play this song, White Boy Summer. I need to play it for the boys. The channel's called Hard Archive. I think y'all laugh it off. Laugh. Did you watch the new video? Satan Yahoo said it was by a mistake. What did he say was about mistake? This dude's always making mistakes, bro. This nigga's always killing innocent people, man. Let's see here. Okay, Israel targeted ambulance and civil defense crews as they are rescuing victims. Bruh. Yo. All right, chat. What I'm about to show you guys is probably going to be pretty graphic here. Okay. Viewer discretion advised, guys.
لا حصل الآن خليك يا الله راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس.
قتلوا الناس means he killed the people in Arabic. Wow.
استهداف كبير الآن.
He said that there was a big explosion.
تشاهدون في هذه الصورة.
And he said, I got it on video. For those of you that are wondering, remember, guys, Sudan is an Arab-speaking country. So I do understand Arabic. I'm not fluent, but I can speak it and understand it to a degree. I need to brush up on it, though.
تدمير كبير.
He just said big, which I'm assuming he means big. Kabir means big, so it means probably big explosion.
قصف عنيف جدا.
Bro.
لا حصر الآن
نعم.
الآن خليك يا الله راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس استهداف كبير الآن كما تشاهدون في هذه الصورة تدمير كبير.
Bro, what the fuck, man? Yeah, so Jackson Hinkle posted this on X. Yo, thank you for that, Leo Kings. Again, another OSS member that sent in a chat, and I pulled it up on screen. Boom. But one of the benefits of being in the OSS, guys. Leo, thank you for this footage. Obviously, this is fucking terrible. You got aid workers in here trying to help people, and the Israelis fucking bombed them. Guys, this is what they do. This is what they do, bro. This is what they fucking do, guys. This is what they fucking do, bro. Wow. Incredible, bro. Incredible, man. Yo, they do this every day, bro. And here's the thing. I'm supposed to be debating Brandon Tatum on this shit. Bro, I think he's ducking the debate. We'll see what happens. Me and him have been going back and forth on Twitter like all week. But, dude, this is absolutely fucking nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. I'm telling you guys this right now. Gaza is red pilling everybody. It really is. It used to be that this was a topic that nobody talked about, nobody knew anything about it. But Israel can't hide its war crimes anymore. Bro, we're watching a genocide in fucking 4K. Bro, they're killing aid workers, bro. They're literally, those guys were there trying to pull people out the fucking rubble and they blew them up. And I'll tell you how this right now, 20 years from now, we're all going to be like, holy shit, we witnessed that. We witnessed a real-time genocide, bro. And at this point, just so you guys know, it's irrefutable that it's a genocide. Anyone that tries to sit there and tell you that it's not a genocide is a fucking idiot. Almost every genocide expert unequivocally has been saying what's going on in Gaza is, by definition, textbook genocide. You don't need to eliminate the people within one day like dumbass Netanyahu says for it to be a genocide. Or some other IDF idiot that told me that the population went up. It actually didn't. It actually didn't. Bro, this is absolutely fucking nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. All right. All right. Let's see here. Okay, let's go ahead. We'll start with Gaza anyway, since I had this clip queued up for you guys. We're gonna cover a couple things. We're gonna cover up this Gaza stuff. We'll cover Gaza. We're gonna cover Rampage's son, and we're gonna cover Destiny. Now, when it comes to Rampage, right? So, guys, I spoke with Rampage this morning. I know a lot of y'all were asking me, yo, react to the stuff with his son, react to the stuff with his son. Look, guys, let me be very clear about this. Rampage is a friend. I know him personally. When we were in Vegas, I think it was last year, we hung out with him the whole time. I fucking love the dude. He's so fucking awesome. And this is before he started doing his streaming shit and blowing up now. We've known Rampage for a bit now. So I didn't want to really talk on a topic too much unless I spoke to him first. Okay? I'm not going to talk too much about what we discussed because he's the homie, but I wanted to talk to him first. So that's why I didn't talk about it too much yesterday, guys. Okay? Because that's just the type of, I like to, if something concerns somebody that I'm buddies with, I'd like to talk to them first before I do anything. So that's just how I do things. All right? So I will cover it here. I'm going to be objective about it. But that's why I didn't want to talk too much about it yesterday. So that's what it is. But anyway, let's go ahead and cover this Gaza thing first.
We start with the latest Israeli attack on a Gaza hospital. Well, dual strikes on the Nasser medical complex in Khan Yunis killed at least 20 people, including journalists, according to Gaza health officials. This video showing the chaos in the aftermath of the first strike. Now, the IDF claiming it, quote, does not target journalists as such, and saying the military chief has instructed an inquiry into the attack. Israel also striking targets in Yemen after Houthi rebels there fired.
Yeah, so so they hit Yemen yesterday because Israel hit Yemen the day before. And I'll quickly refresh your guys' memory here because some of you guys may not be familiar with the Houthis and shit like that. So going to some Middle Eastern shit real quick for y'all. So, all right, the aka Ansar Allah. So the Houthis officially knows Ansar Allah is a Zaydi revivalist and Islamic political and military organization that emerged from Yemen in the 1990s. It is predominantly made up of Zaydis, whose namesake leadership is drawn largely from the al-Houthi family. The group has been a central player in Yemen's civil war, drawing widespread international condemnation for its human rights abuses, including targeting civilians and using child soldiers. The movement is designed as a designated as a terrorist organization by some countries. The Houthis are backed by Iran, and they are widely considered part of the Iranian-led axis of resistance. So, guys, the axis of resistance, I've spoken about this before, but the axis of resistance, guys, is a group of countries that oppose Israel, okay? So you have Iran, who's the main sponsor, right? Then you got Iraq, and you got the Yemen is down here, right? So the Houthis control western Yemen, and the reason why you can't see it here, but there's a waterway here. Let me pull it up on a map for you guys real quick. Give me 1 sec. And Yemen is a very poor country, one of the poorest countries in the world, and definitely in the Arab world. So you guys can see here, you got the Red Sea, right? And this area here, pretty much, what the Houthis do is, so you got the axis of resistance, right? You got Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and you got the Houthis down here, right? And basically, all of these countries oppose Israel because Israel's trying to take over the Middle East to become the hegemony in the Middle East. So Iran backs a lot of these proxy powers to fight Israel. Now, the Houthis down here, what they do is, since they're so far, right, they shoot rockets into Israel all the time, okay? And then another thing that they do that's unique to other organizations is they pirate ships. So what they'll do is, if a ship is involved in trade, right, that affects commerce for Israel, they'll board that ship and destroy it or take it hostage, okay? And this has been very bad for Israel economically. Okay, they've had to close a couple of these shipping companies out of Israel. So that's how they've been basically attacking Israel. So you got the Houthis down here, not just sending the rockets at them, but they're also attacking them economically, right? Through their shipping routes. And obviously Iran is the main power that backs them. Now, with the Houthis, the United States ended up getting a ceasefire with them earlier this year. Because if you guys remember, shout out to Sirach No Diddy with the 5 gifted. Appreciate you. If you guys remember, when Trump first came into office and they had the signal leaks, remember that, guys? With Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth was in there, Mike Waltz, etc. And Mike Waltz leaked the signal conversation. That signal conversation, guys, was pretty much planned airstrikes to attack the Houthis, okay? They spent billions of dollars to attack the Houthis, and they couldn't even finish them. So what ended up happening with the Houthis was they were able to strike a ceasefire with the United States, right? The United States basically wanted them to stop attacking cargo ships. And they came to an agreement. And now, because it's very difficult to bomb them, and they were able to avoid most of the striking, and they're still hitting Israel, the Houthis. So they're a very elusive yet effective paramilitary group. And they've been a nuisance to Israel, both financially and with their rockets. A lot of their rockets do get shot down, but the boarding of the cargo ships has been absolutely terrible for Israel economically. So now that you guys kind of know who the Houthis are and their conflict with Israel, they shot missiles into Israel, I think 2 days ago. And then Israel retaliated by hitting Sana'a, which is like their capital, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. You guys know I like to always. Where's Sana'a? Yeah, it is the capital. Okay, yeah. Yeah, right in the heart of the Houthis area. Now they control this area mostly, guys. The western part of Yemen. This other side is controlled by another part of the government because the Houthis are not like the official government. They're kind of like they're There's been a war, guys, there's been a whole war in Yemen for a very long time. Saudi Arabia's attacked them. The West has attacked them. It's a very poor country. There's literally a human travesties going on over here all the time. Shout out to Sirach No Diddy with the 5 gifted. Appreciate you, my friend. So Yemen is a war-torn country. But that's what's been going on. And let me see here. There was something else I wanted to show you guys.
A new type of missile at Israel. Paula Hancock's following development.
Yes, the MIRV, I believe, is the missile that they shot. Let me see if I could get a video on this for you guys.
Developments for us here in Abu Dhabi, and she joins.
An Al Jazeera journalist is among
Targets in Yemen after Houthi rebels. The Nasser medical complex in Khan Yunis killed at least 20 people, including journalists, according to Gaza health officials. This video showing the chaos in the aftermath of the first strike. Now, the IDF claiming it, quote, does not target journalists as such, and saying the military chief has instructed an inquiry into the attack. Israel also striking targets in Yemen after Houthi rebels there fired a new type of missile at Israel. Paula Hancock's following developments for us here in Abu Dhabi, and she joins me now live. Let's start with the hospital strike. What more do we know about that?
Well, Becky, this was a
Iran's
double
MIRV missile
by Israel on the Nasser hospital. This is in Khan Yunis. It's in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. Now, we know that after that first strike targeted the 4th floor
MIRV missiles
of the hospital, we understand that there were emergency workers, health workers and journalists who all rushed to the scene. Now, we have footage that we see. It was also played on live television showing those individuals on a damaged staircase trying to retrieve casualties, one holding up a damaged video camera to show the journalists' presence. And then just minutes later, there was a second strike. Now, we understand that this was more deadly than the first, and this is the one.
Shout out to King Baldwin, bro. King Baldwin, I see your super chat. It says here, Lex Freeman did a 10-hour podcast with Scott Horton. Yes, you read that right, 10 hours. Yes, I was listening to it earlier today. I'm already ahead of you, baby. I'm already ahead of you. I was already listening to it earlier today. They went super deep on the history of Iran, Iraq, Israel, Afghanistan, Syria, Somalia, Ukraine, and everything in between. Holy shit, it was awesome. Yeah, I was listening to it this morning. So, yeah, but thank you so much, King Baldwin. $20 from you, my friend. Appreciate you greatly. So, yeah. And guys, if you want to donate, again, entropy.live/MyronGainsX is the best way, if you're watching on YouTube especially.
That did kill many journalists and emergency workers who were on the scene at the time. At least 4 journalists have been killed. They were really the backbone of
and just so you guys know, by the way, entropy, what's it called? This war is the most violent war for journalists. Most journalists have been killed in this war of all the other wars pretty much combined. This conflict in Gaza has killed more journalists than any other war combined, bro. Fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Of the footage that was coming out of Gaza for a number of international media outlets. One worked for AP, one for Reuters, one for Al Jazeera, another was freelance. As you know, Israel does not allow international journalists into Gaza, so we heavily rely on our Palestinian colleagues to be able to get these images out to us, and 4 have been killed in this particular incident. Now, we also understand from the civil defense that one emergency worker was killed whilst trying to retrieve casualties from the first strike as well. Israel's response has been that they do not target journalists as such. They say that they will have an initial inquiry as soon as possible, also saying that they carried out a strike in the area of Nasser Hospital. So we're waiting to hear more, but certainly this is provoking much condemnation. Becky?
It's good to have you. Thank you very much indeed. Before these latest attacks in Khan Yunis, the United Nations counted more than 240 journalists killed in Gaza since the war began. Jody Ginsburg is the president of the Committee to Protect.
All right, YouTube Ninjas, I gave you guys the link because you guys can't, obviously I'm demonetized on YouTube. You guys can't donate on YouTube. So if you guys want to go ahead and get involved in the show, I put the link for you guys, especially for the YouTube Ninjas. You could donate on there, and your chat will get read on screen, and then I'll read your chat, and then also I have TTS enabled as well. $50 is TTS, and it just like gets a set on the show or whatever.
Journalist, the CPJ. She joins me now from New York. Jody, today marks another Israeli strike on journalists. 2 weeks ago, it was the strike on prominent Al Jazeera correspondent Anas al-Sharif and his team. Why are we seemingly in this endless loop at this point? And what can be done?
Well, we're in this endless loop because Israel has not been held accountable for any of these killings. This is the deadliest conflict for journalists that CPJ has ever documented. To date, 196 journalists, if we include today's killings, have been killed. 189 of those are Palestinians killed by Israel. And despite the fact that Israel keeps saying it doesn't deliberately target journalists, the evidence is very different.
Yeah, and they killed a journalist last week, guys. A couple of they killed a prominent Palestinian journalist and a couple of Al Jazeera journalists, and you know, they said, "Oh yeah, this guy was a member of Hamas. That's why we killed him." Like, bruh.
I wonder what this apparent double tap raises for you. That, of course, is when first responders arrive at the scene of a strike and are struck in much the same spot. And it's oft times when journalists are killed as well, responding to an attack. And we've seen this before, haven't we?
We have. And just to be clear, if it is a double tap, that is considered to be a war crime. This attack, which we believe was deliberately intended to take out the camera being used by Reuters cameraman. He was killed in the first attack. Then, as you say, first responders moved in, including journalists, and they were killed in the second attack. So in both instances, it looks like Israel has committed unlawful killings, war crimes, both in the deliberate killing of the Reuters cameraman and in this so-called double tap attack subsequently.
With the greatest of respect, I mean, you're the Committee to Protect Journalists, and clearly journalists aren't being protected in Gaza. And look, you've explained that, you know, until Israel changes its ways, to your mind, there's very little an organisation like yours is actually able to do. Are you in contact with Israeli authorities? And what is that dialogue? What's the narrative here?
Well, we are in contact. We ask for an explanation every time a journalist is killed. We don't always hear back. In the cases where we do, often, as was the case with Anas al-Sharif and others, we hear the allegations that those journalists were considered by Israel to be terrorists. We don't get any verifiable or credible evidence from them. But you're right. Ultimately, it is extraordinarily frustrating and upsetting to be here 2 years, almost 2 years since the start of the war. We have been warning since the beginning that Israel was killing journalists unlawfully. And we had not only very little response from Israel, but very little public condemnation from the international community.
And let's just repeat how we started this. The UN assessing or compiling numbers, and we are talking numbers at this point. Nobody is a mere number. When we consider 240 journalists killed in Gaza since the conflict began, this is just truly extraordinary stuff. And the stakes, of course, are enormous. As Paula pointed out, no international media, journalists allowed in other than on embeds every so often with the Israeli army. No independent news gathering by the international media allowed in Gaza. So we rely heavily on our Palestinian colleagues. I just wonder why it is that you believe Israel is giving no independent access to Western journalists at this point. And if you can put into perspective for us just how unprecedented that is and why it is so damaging.
Well, firstly, let's be clear. When we say there's no independent journalism taking place in Gaza, there is independent journalism. There are hundreds of journalists who have been day in, day out reporting what is happening inside Gaza. They happen to be Gazan journalists, Palestinian journalists, in the same way that American journalists report on American politics and the situation in America, or British ones do in the UK. The challenge is the fact that there has been no international access has allowed Israel to perpetuate this narrative that none of the journalists.
They're just starting to let journalists in now a little bit. I know that like they let a couple of American influencers that are pro-Israel in. As you guys know, the blonde black dude that's sus, I know him, and another loser named Cam, Big Easy or some shit like that. They let them in, and they were there like, you know, at the food distribution sites. So they are slowly starting to let them in. But yeah, for the most part of the war, bro, journalists were not allowed in for obvious reasons.
In Gaza are trustworthy, and therefore their narrative is not to be trusted. What they are documenting, what we are seeing, what we are hearing is not to be trusted. And that is part of a deliberate strategy. That's part of...
Demetrius, quick question. I got the 5 people's email. I clicked the link and it's telling me to type in their email, but I don't want my card information to get sent. No, they won't, bro. They won't have your card info. It always blocks off your card. I don't even see your card info. So it always blocks it off. Thank you though for that, Demetrius. You're the man, bro. So yeah, guys, Demetrius is gonna he got the 5 emails for you guys. He's gonna hook y'all ninjas up. But yeah, bro, no, your email will be fine. It'll hide it. You brokies. You guys should thank Demetrius, man. Down to Marco for Demetrius. He's gifting 5 people in the chat and an OSS sub. You broke ass niggas can't pay $10, so he got you guys.
Of a deliberate strategy to control the narrative on what's happening inside Gaza. The killings of journalists, the targeting of media facilities, the banning of news outlets like Al Jazeera, the sanctioning of independent Israeli outlets like Haaretz is all part of a deliberate strategy to control what we, the international public, is seeing on Gaza.
What happens next?
We've got to see more robust response from the international community. There must be demands for accountability. We heard after the last attack 2 weeks ago on the Al Jazeera news crew, we heard a very clear call from Germany, a traditional ally of Israel, that it wanted an explanation for why.
All right, let's look at these MIRVs real quick, because these are the type of missiles that Iran hit them with.
Iran's MIRV Missiles strike.
Well, they're Iran missiles, but they came from the Houthis.
Israel in a dangerous development. Israeli sources have revealed that Iran's major attack today employed ballistic missiles with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, MIRVs, marking the first use of such technology in direct confrontations between Tehran and Tel Aviv.
So these are Iranian missiles, but the Houthis used them on their last attack 2 days ago.
According to Israeli defense analyses, these advanced missiles carry multiple warheads capable of simultaneously hitting different targets, making interception more difficult and multiplying their destructive power.
Now, the reason why this is a problem for the Israelis, guys, is because, as you guys know, the Israelis rely heavily upon their Iron Dome, David Sling, and I can't remember the third missile defense system. And they also have a THAAD that we gave them as well. So anything that can like get around it or make it harder for them to shoot these missiles down is very bad. And Iran has a lot of these missiles, a lot of them. And that's why they were able to hit Tel Aviv, despite the fact that they had the U.S. warships, they had their own missile defense system, they had the Jordanians scrambling, they had the British helping, they had the French helping. All these different countries were helping Israel, but they still were able to get missiles through to hit them.
Military sources indicate this sophisticated
Yes, the arrow, yeah. David Sling, the Iron Dome, and then the arrow. Yep, there you go. Thank you.
Technology explains the widespread damage inflicted on multiple Israeli sites at once, including the severe destruction in Tel Aviv and Beersheva. Defense experts warn that Iran's deployment of such missiles represents a serious escalation in Iranian military capabilities, presenting new challenges to Israel's Iron Dome systems, which struggled against this type of attack. While Iran has not officially commented, sources close to the IRGC suggest these weapons were domestically developed as part of Iran's deterrence program.
Yes, Iran makes a lot of its own missiles, guys, and they make a lot of their own drones. They give a lot of their drones actually are being used in the Russia-Ukraine war. And the thing is with Iran, guys, is their ballistic missile program is one of the best in the world, right? One of the best in the world. Obviously, the Air Force is good and stuff like that because a lot of their fighter jets are from like the 70s during the Nixon era when the Shah bought these fighter jets. Actually, Scott Horn talked about that today. Well, with the Lex Friedman podcast. But yeah, so they rely heavily upon their ballistic missile program to attack their enemies. They got hypersonics, drones, cruise, any type of missile you guys can think about, they got them.
The regional military landscape is at a turning point. Are we witnessing a fundamental...
So basically, the Iranians put this stuff to use 2 months ago during the 12-day war. Now, the Houthis have been using these missiles for the first time a couple of days ago. And let me see here if I could get this on AI Telly. So you guys can get like a... It might be... There we go.
During the Cold War, both the US and the USSR developed intercontinental ballistic missiles or ICBMs. But soon the US found that the single warhead ICBMs could be intercepted by the anti-ballistic missile system developed by the USSR around Moscow. Soon the US developed the Multiple Independently Targetable Re-entry Vehicle or MIRV. Here a single ICBM could carry multiple warheads. Some are decoys to fool the anti-ballistic missile system. Descending at Mach 25 speed, these MIRVs are unstoppable and would cover an area of 200 kilometers. The Trident II missile used for submarine launches carried 14 MIRVs in a single missile head.
So just so you guys have a visual representation, we had the Pajit reading it for us though, which makes it even funnier. And then let's see here. Give me 1 sec, ninjas. That's from the explosion we saw earlier.
After powerful Israeli strikes on Nasser Hospital in southern Gaza, men, women and children run for their lives. Just moments earlier, the smoke above the building has barely cleared. But the blood from a first attack is all too visible on a medical uniform, as the doctor holding it up then cowers in fear. A second Israeli strike in the same spot.
Bro, every day, guys, imagine just getting bombed every day like this, dude.
Causing further catastrophic damage, distress, and...
Dude, look at that, man. What the fuck, bro?
Death. With the details captured by cameras and eyewitnesses alike.
And these are aid workers, bro. Those aid workers we saw earlier.
While everyone was doing his job, then a very big airstrike happened in one of the building of Nasser Hospital.
And then apparently someone said that Netanyahu said it was a mistake. Bruh. Oh, my bad, dog. Didn't mean to blow you up there. What the fuck, bro?
It shook the hospital.
Among those killed, alongside medical staff and rescue workers, were, yet again, members of Gaza's media. All of them considered civilians under international law.
The room where the journalists were there, like many journalists have been killed, you wouldn't recognize them. They all burned, and many of them are in pieces.
outrage at this hospital horror only heightened with the death of so many media workers.
It's another targeted killing, another murder of journalists, part of an overall strategy from the Israeli army to target journalists in order to reach a kind of a blackout of the information in the Gaza Strip.
Monday's murdered journalist included Al Jazeera's Mohammed Salama, Miriam Abu Daqqa, who contributed to the US news agency The Associated Press, and Hussam al-Masri, a cameraman contracted to UK-based Reuters. The Israeli military says it's ordered an investigation into the incident and, quote, regrets the deaths of uninvolved civilians. Willem Martz, Al Jazeera.
Don't miss out.
Absolutely nuts, chat. All right, real quick. So let's go ahead and so now you guys kind of know what's going on with the Houthis, and then obviously Israel struck back at them, and they hit their capital of Sana'a, which they haven't done that in a bit. Okay, and then we're gonna go into the 600,000 Chinese here in a second. Let me read some of these chats. Okay, Jesus the Kid 02 says it's always a mistake according to Netanyahu. What would it take for him or Israel to finally be held accountable? Every time someone from the U.S. addresses one of their mistakes, they just brush it off like it's nothing. It's getting very tiresome. Bro, I'm telling you, bro, until we stop running cover for them, they're never going to be held accountable. That's the problem. That's the problem. We not only give Israel a fuck ton of money every year, we also cover for them diplomatically. Obsidian, yo, Myron, you see the Chicago losing their minds because they're finally sending help to make those idiots stop doing crime? I did hear about that, Obsidian. Yeah, so for those of you guys that are wondering, so right now, right? So Trump has pretty much got the National Guard out in full force in Washington, D.C. right now in an effort to bring down crime. A lot of critics are complaining and saying, bro, we don't even have a crime problem here. Murder was on its way down. Why are you bringing the National Guard? And then Trump basically said if this, sets a good precedent, he might, do this in other cities. Now, obviously, a lot of the Democrats, a lot of the leftists are getting angry. Oh, this is a violation of compulsory comitas, and this is authoritarianism, blah, 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 complaining. But basically, this is kind of a model to see that if other cities could potentially emulate it. And look, bro, honestly, some of these cities do need a National Guard, bro. Let's be honest, man. Places like Chicago, places like LA, like these places are fucking cooked, okay? There's rampant crime everywhere. I don't even like being in LA, dude. Like, you could get robbed on Rodeo Drive in LA randomly, right? Just for wearing a Rolex. So some of these places do need fucking more of a police presence. And sometimes the police can't do it all, right? Like Chicago PD, for example, underfunded. There's so many unsolved murders, they can't keep up with it. So, I don't have a problem with the military being involved, man, because at the end of the day, bro, shit's getting out of hand here. Crime is rampant in a lot of these blue cities all across America, and it's a fucking problem, dude. It's a serious problem. Hey, guys, don't forget. Remember FBG Duck? Bro is in the nicest part of Chicago, and they fucking ran up on him and gunned him down. He was in, I think, the Gold Coast, if I'm not mistaken. All my Chicago guys in here, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. He was in that shopping area. Very fancy, very high and affluent area, right? He's there shopping with, like, some family members. Comes out the store, or was going into the store, and two cars roll up, and they just start shooting at him. Broad daylight, chat. Broad daylight. Okay? Obviously, the FBI got them, and they all got convicted, on RICO conspiracy murder charges. But these guys found out where he was at, and they drove from Old Block all the way up to the Gold Coast. They rushed up there. They got these niggas on camera, by the way. They saw that he was where he was at. I guess they saw it on Instagram or something like that. And they rushed to that area in two cars. You can see them on the fucking surveillance cameras running all across the Old Block projects, jumping in cars and then speeding up and then running a bunch of red lights to get up there. And then they're getting up there, and these dudes didn't wait. Oh, yeah, there's cameras everywhere in broad daylight and everybody can see us and shit. Fuck it, let's go, yeah. Daytime hit, bro. They lit his ass up, man, and killed him. In Chicago. Oh, man. Sabrina says, all right, man, well, Frank isn't looking better than my retarded boy, Louis. Frank is still more handsome. Sabrina. Radek says, what the fuck is the point of NATO, EU, and other organizations taxing people and allowing shit like blowing up people with not doing anything about it? Shit made me mad. NATO and EU to step in, those organizations, Yeah, bro, that's the thing. They're powerless. So, Radek, they're powerless. Look, so as you guys know, right? So, France and the UK have threatened to recognize Palestine, right? Now, when it comes to France, I think their decision is set in stone. I think they're going to be the first country to actually do it and recognize Palestine of the major Western countries. But the UK, Keir Starmer came out and said, hey, if Israel doesn't change its course of action, we're also going to recognize Palestine, right? And obviously this pisses the Israelis off because this is what they've been trying to avoid for a very long time. They don't want anyone to recognize Israel because that would legitimize Israel. And in their eyes, it would reward terrorism, right? But this just goes to show you guys how much their hands are tied and how they can't do nothing because they basically have to threaten recognizing Palestine to get Israel to come in line. People think, oh yeah, the Brits are finally taking it to Israel. The Brits are finally going to recognize Palestine. No, bro, that's a declaration of powerlessness. Keir Starmer going out and saying, yo, if they don't go ahead and stop their course of their actions with the starvation and everything else like that and their conflict, we're going to recognize Palestine. That is a declaration of powerlessness. It's gotten to that point now because they can't do nothing. The EU in general is cucked. They can't do shit. And it's because we run cover for the Israelis. So we'll see what happens. Denon says, subscribe. Welcome to the OSS, my friend. Tucson Tay says, hey, Myron, just want to say I appreciate everything you do for us. I recently cut my mom off because she's forcing my stepdad to get an attorney in order for him to see my little sister, his daughter. He's the one guy that stepped up for my older brother and I, plus my sister, not his daughter. For anyone out there that ever wonders why you shouldn't take a single mom serious, learn from his mistake. It's been 2 months since we've seen my sister, OSS, CC, we out here. Shout out to you, Tucson Tay, and I'm sorry that your father, your stepdad is going through that. And that's crazy that you built such a bond with your stepdad, where you're taking his side over your biological mom. He must have been a great dad to you. One of the rare situations. Average Asian Joe. But yeah, thank you for that lesson, guys. There you go. Boom. You got this guy here, right? He loves his stepdad, and he's taking his stepdad's side. But what is his mom doing? His mom is keeping his biological kid from him. Bro, guys, never be a stepdad, bro. It ain't worth it, man. It really isn't. No good deed goes unpunished, man.